Amberly, and this is the place to be for a healthy body, mind, and spirit. And today's video is going to help give you room to breathe. So I touched on this a little bit in my last video about how taking deep breaths and moving your lungs and moving your diaphragm really helps you process your experiences and your emotions. Not to mention the fact that taking deep breaths is what gives you oxygen so that you can be alive and have energy. So we're just going to be clearing out any blockages in the body that are keeping you from taking deep breaths. So it's just going to make it that much easier to take really deep breaths in and out. So to begin, we're going to start right in the lungs, and we're going to be clearing out an emotion. And actually, before we do that, why don't we take a moment just to take a couple deep breaths and kind of see where we are with our breath. So let's just go ahead and take a couple deep breaths together and just kind of make a note of how it feels. So mine feels kind of okay. I feel a little bit of a constriction in my upper right shoulder. It doesn't feel like it's really moving that much. So let's go ahead and focus on this emotion that we're clearing from the lungs. And we're starting by clearing out some grief. And this grief has the flavor of feeling deflated. So you can kind of feel that feeling of having the wind taken out of your sails, just feeling kind of like, ugh, just deflated. And you can see how that like kind of physically compresses your chest cavity and actually compresses your lungs and kind of deflates your lungs. So we're going to go ahead and start clearing out that emotion, and it's going to be from times throughout life where maybe somebody said something to you at a certain moment that kind of, made you feel bad about yourself. So there's kind of like a self-worth thing here going on. So anything that made you feel less than good about yourself, even your own, inner dialogue. So go ahead and start to feel what feeling deflated feels like, and you can start to see if you notice it in your body. And I'm really noticing it kind of in the center of my chest cavity and a little bit up towards the sides. So if you aren't identifying a particular area, that's okay. Just focus on your whole lungs. But if you are noticing kind of like where it's centralized, you can focus there. And we're just going to start brushing down towards the diaphragm. So we're actually imagining collecting this grief, this sense of deflation, and clearing it out. So we're just going to be bringing it down to the diaphragm to be released. Taking some really deep breaths, tapping on the head and the heart when you have a chance. And if you're a visual person, you can imagine this grief as a particular color or shape, and you can really see yourself kind of clearing it out. Breathing deeply. Letting go of any sense of deflation from our lungs. Excellent. And then we're just going to focus again on our diaphragm. And just feel the movement of your diaphragm for a few breaths. So we'll just feel it moving down on inhale and release back up on exhale. You can feel that relationship between your lungs and your diaphragm. As you breathe in, the diaphragm goes down and creates all this wonderful space for air to fill into your lungs. And as you breathe out, it helps you release that breath. So let's just take a couple more deep breaths. Feeling that relationship. And then we're going to focus on a couple of meridians in the body. And we're going to be working specifically with the large intestine and the lung meridians. And the large intestine and the lungs are both closely associated with grief in traditional Chinese medicine, and closely associated with each other. And just as our lungs help us kind of bring in the new, help us accept fresh air and release the old air, our large intestine also accepts food and releases waste. So in that way, these organs both mimic our ability to accept the new and release the old, which is basically what grieving is. So I'm going to have you hold up 2 fingers to represent the large intestine meridian and the lung meridian. And we'll put that over the diaphragm. And we'll just take some deep breaths, allowing those 2 meridians to support each other, flow through the body. And even if you don't know what your lung and heart meridians look like in the body, what their energy pattern is, that's fine, because your body knows. So let's take a couple deep breaths and see if we notice any changes. I'm mostly just noticing some more expansiveness in the front of the chest, kind of where that grief clearing was. So let me know if you notice anything. I'd love to hear about any shifts you may have experienced. You can put that in the comments below the video. And if you'd like to go deeper into this work, I am doing a free healing session on grief and the issues associated with grief. So it'll continue to work with the breath cycle and with the lungs and with balancing our relationship with grief, allowing old grief to be released, all kinds of good stuff. So I would love to see you there. This is a formal invitation to you. You can check that out at my website. I'll also put the link here on the video. And feel free to invite anyone in your life that you think would benefit from doing a deep healing on grief. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you at that session. So sign up now, and I will see you next time.